if I'm the East St. Louis coach, I want the ball in my horse's hands. I got to have the ball down inside to Conzo Martin. Conzo's got to become a big factor offensively for East St. Louis Lincoln. On the other hand, Jamie Brandon has to involve some of his other teammates at his end of the floor.
Just a quick note for you basketball fans, mark your calendars. Next December the 1st, the first Collinsville basketball shootout superfan. Collinsville against King, East St. Louis Lincoln against Gordon Tech. 3 of our 4 finalists.
See, basketball never really stops for the true basketball fan. It goes all year long. King with the basketball. Brandon pulls up. He's money. He's a good shooter. No matter what angle either. He's got about all of them covered. 35-26, so King jumps out right away.
2-3 zone employed again by Chicago King. They stay in that. That's their favorite defensive tool.
Those last 2 minutes before the half, disastrous for Benny Lewis because he saw 2 of his players pick up their 3rd fouls, although they did get a 3-pointer at the buzzer. McKinney finds an opening. Tough shot. Can't get it to fall. McKinney's got it back. Spinning and scoring.
That was an even tougher shot. That's what every ball player should do, is follow his shot after he takes it. Go to the boards.
I think it was Conzo in there keeping it alive, either he or Mr. Williams, and that set up the second chance for McKinney. Schofield, 15-footer, nothing but net. So King has taken 2 shots out of the gate here in the second half and nailed them both. McKinney.
Conzo's away from the ball. He needs to either flash to it or they need to swing it and pound it down inside to Conzo.
And they're really keeping it away from the All-Stater. McKinney for nothing but air. And traveling called on Brandon, and I didn't see it. Brandon can't believe it, but the official was right there on the spot. Before the game, Sonny said he didn't care who King played, but I think he was kind of camouflaging his real feelings.
Guards have to look inside. Conzo's working hard, trying to get posted.
Jamie Brandon tried to draw the charge, which would have been critical for East St. Louis Lincoln because it was McKinney on the drive, but instead Jamie Brandon will pick up his second personal foul. Brandon with 18 on the afternoon already.
You know, Lincoln needs to get a basket here, Jim. Hang close. That's been the key for them so far. You know, they can shed that 31-point loss in mid-December. The longer they can hang in there.
Brandon needed 108 points in the final 3 games of this season to tie Andy Kaufman for second on the all-time scoring list in Illinois, and he's had 46 so far. The drive again, and McKinney's really creating some problems for King, not necessarily scoring-wise, but he's making them try to stop him, and they're not able to so far.
Well, you know, that's a good word you use. He's creating, and when you don't go inside with the pass, McKinney's taking it inside with the drive, and there you go right here, drawing the foul. You know, they can get the if he can get the 2 points here, he's accomplished more than just the basket. He's put another foul on a King ball player individually, and he's also put his team closer to the bonus.
Can McKinney go 8 for 8? So far, so good.
He's kind of doctoring up that rather suspect free throw percentage that he brought into the Assembly Hall.
And of course, he does shoot from the angle, as you can see at the free throw line. Unorthodox, but today, perfect.
He'll have everybody in East St. Louis shooting from the side.
7-point ball game. Jaguars inside the Griffith. He just drops it on.
Oh, that's tough to defend when you're a 7-footer in there. You know, you got to keep the ball out of his hands.
Rashard Griffith, the freshman, he's got a lot of basketball yet to play. McKinney off balance. Martin there, back up and in. That was good fortune for East St. Louis Lincoln because that ball hits the rim.
Martin doesn't get it.
That's right. So it's back.
Check out East St. Louis Lincoln's defense here. It's more of a triangle to kind of boxing one. Boxing one. Got Horton all over Jamie Brandon.
Brandon drives. He is fouled. That basket probably would have counted as Maurice Horton. Got him on the wrist. And you want to talk about a tough assignment. Try being Williams right now, who's playing with 3 fouls and who's trying to front Rashard Griffith, the 6'11", 240 pounds before dinner.
Yeah, that's a tough assignment. Yeah, that's when you have to have some team defensive help. There's just no way you can do it one-on-one, Jim.
Well, Brandon keeps matching everything that McKinney can do from the free throw line.
If those who would want to anticipate maybe a Quincy King matchup, remember they met early in the season, and that was a 2-point game at Quincy in favor of King.
Right now, that early second quarter run by Chicago King is the difference in this one. Jaguars back on the D, leading by 9. It's a lot more fun to play defense when you're ahead, isn't it, Coach?
Oh, yeah.
Riley spots Martin down low, and it's blocked, but they call the foul on Rashard Griffith.
That's a ticket, too. That's a little penetration by the guard, Horton, and he got
Rashard Griffith now with 3 personal fouls, but again, they can go to Damian Porter.
You see Conzo come up. You see the little penetration, posted up nicely, got the ball, and took it up. And then, even though he didn't score, you got the foul on the big kid. He goes to the free throw line. This is what has to be done.
Martin gets the roll. As soon as that ball left his hand, he knew that it wasn't quite right. He put a little body English on it. So it's become kind of a free throw game here early in the third quarter.
You know, you're scoring some points when you catch up. When you have to play a little catch up, you're scoring when the clock's dead, too.
Of course, last night, Georgia Tech had all kinds of problems with their free throws early. Brandon's got the baseline. Man, he busted. He just busted, doesn't he?
He busted. That's a good word to use to describe it, and he gets up so quickly.
Lincoln 12 of 12 from the free throw line, so they're hanging in there. They need this guy to start scoring. McKinney. And I mean from the field, not from the free throw line. That's his second field goal. McKinney now with 14 on the game. Oh, tough shot by Ahmad Sharif. You know, he's the quiet one, too. He is Schofield. They let everybody else take the limelight. You can't help but notice Rashard Griffith and Brandon and Selvey, of course, are just dynamite. But those 2 guards out there, they're solid.
They both had outstanding tournaments last year here.
Selvey's been very quiet in this one with 3.
Not forcing anything, though. Martin's got the ball, but they don't want him to have it way out there. Good head fake. Riley gets his man in the air, but he misfires. He buried the shot after he got his man away from him. Here comes King with a chance to double-digit lead. Ahmad Sharif does just that. King up by 11.
St. Louis could probably use a timeout right here and regroup.
This is what King will do to their opponents. I mean, you feel like you're sticking with them, and you feel like you're playing them, and then suddenly you look up and you're 11 down. McKinney, that's a very tough shot. This rebound will belong to Rashard Griffith easily. Schofield cross-court pass. Brandon in the open where he likes to be. Contact and a foul on Martin.
Coach Lewis needs a timeout here. His troops are getting a little out of sync. They're rushing their offense a little bit, and the confidence is building within King.
Once you get Brandon some space, you've got definite problems.
I think he's got an 11-point lead, so he's going to wheel and deal more. He feels confident. He feels like there's not as much pressure, and he's correct.
Second team foul on East St. Louis Lincoln as Brandon finds the baseline again, and he also finds Horton on his arm.
There's that hand check that Coach Cox and player Brandon have been complaining about. He just got the foul, and Jamie Brandon nodded with agreement.
Sonny Cox going down his bench, talking to a few of the players. You know that Sonny told the press here when he arrived in Champaign that his team had inbounds, but Selvey couldn't quite get it. It'll belong to Chicago King. They said that Conzo Martin had laughed. Getting back to that story, Sonny Cox said, you know, they gave my team floors in the first room with sliding doors, and he said, no way, let's take it upstairs. We got to lock these guys in. They've got a mission. Selvey goes up high. Great catch, but he couldn't get the shot to fall. Rebound nicely by McKinney. 2:50 remaining here in the third quarter. And East St. Louis Lincoln looking for some baskets without an answer from King.
Important possession, too. They got to get back within single digits, and they got to do it by being a little bit patient. Be nice if they could get a old-fashioned three, go inside, get fouled and score.
Sharif read that, but just got there a little bit late. There's Conzo. He's going to take it inside, and he will be fouled by Johnny Selby.
You notice Conzo moved out to catch the ball, and he's not getting it posting up. He moved out, caught it, and tried to penetrate.
Well, Selby said, hey, he made contact with me, which in effect he did, but Selby was moving, so it always goes to the offensive player.
Top of the game, he said a couple of the keys for East St. Louis Lincoln. Good games from McKinney, who's doing fine with 14, but also from Williams, who hasn't scored and has effectively been removed from the game by the King baseline.
You needed him on the boards, and you needed some points from him, Frank.
Yeah, yesterday he had 10 points and 11 rebounds. Oh, McKinney almost out-hustled Griffith for that ball. Richard just kind of walked after it. McKinney almost made him pay for it. We're coming back with more, but let's pause for these messages. King has the rough edge on today. They want this one badly, and Jamie Brandon, who is being hounded by a pesky Stanford Riley. It's like getting rid of the fly at the family picnic, you know? You don't know how to get rid of him.
Jamie finds him annoying right now and gives him a little shove trying to get him out of the way. But, you know, Riley and Horton have traded off the assignment of guarding Jamie Brandon one-on-one, and that's a tall assignment, a tough assignment.
Sonny Cox with some words for his star. I guess I should say one of his stars, because he has some players.
He's got a bevy of them.
Brandon with 22, McKinney with 14 lead their clubs respectively. And now King will take it on out.
Interesting here. They're going to pull it out. Try to milk it down a little bit and cause East St. Louis Lincoln to extend their defense. This is where they get Jamie a lot of times on the backdoor cut. But now you can see the true box-and-one defense. The hounding of a Stanford Riley all over man for man on Jamie Brandon and the others in a box-and-one. Now they've just switched to the man-to-man, Jim.
And they'll go high post. Well, they would have in that alignment, but now they'll just straighten it out. Like they did yesterday to Griffith, who comes out to the top of the free throw line and just surveys the situation and waits for somebody to cut like that. Nice play. Ahmad Sharif.
Nice job. Nice backdoor cut. Nice. That's why you got to keep the ball out of the middle of the floor.
Sharif's starting to have a fine game offensively. He always plays a great floor game defensively. You like to have your guards in that 2-3 zone, have those long arms and be able to move quickly. McKinney driving, and we've got a whistle and a foul. It'll go against Schofield. Now, regardless of how this turns out, Chris McKinney definitely wanted to give it a shot for that third straight title game.
You know, he's been around and he's watched the Alfonso Ellis's in the program get the great limelight, and the Vincent Jacksons, and now the, Conzo Martin. Chris McKinney just comes to play, plays very hard, plays emotionless on the floor, but with great intensity, Jim.
Well, you don't see a lot of guys make 10 free throws in a row these days on any level, but McKinney's on the verge, isn't he?
Certainly is, and he came in with a very suspect, 54% from the free throw line?
Well, Benny Lewis said he's the guy we have to go to because Conzo's knee is bothering him, and McKinney has definitely responded in kind. 1 minute, 10 seconds remaining here in the third quarter, as you saw. Let's see what King does this time. Sharif shows good patience. McKinney doesn't want to pick up that fourth one. There's a whole quarter yet to play. Griffith looking, and that pass is saved by Selby. It's not a good pass, but the ability of Selby to get up high with those good hands saved it. They just hang for one, and they're looking for the layup right now.
Yeah, well, they're going to milk it down.
Ooh. Tegas Williams got out there and almost messed up the works. Lincoln is 15 of 16 from the free throw line. 15 of their 39 points. And now they'll go for one as Brandon takes it out. Don't forget Gordon Tech and Quincy after this.
You can look for, if they get the ball in Brandon's hand here, you look for him to go one-on-one against Riley. A lot of hand checking there.
And a foul on Schofield. Well, they hung on to it for just under a minute, and then they called Schofield.
They're calling for a moving pick here, maybe an illegal pick. Punch it up here and see it, but there is some handshaking going on.
Riley, who's a pretty good free throw shooter at 77% on the year.
Riley at the line for the Tigers.
In and out. Boy, that's a tough one for East St. Louis Lincoln. And watch Brandon make him pay. He'll go all the way down and hang and does not hit it, but he picked up the foul. Is that on Martin?
It's on Conzo.
Instead of cutting it to 8 now, they'll probably be down by 12 at the end of the third quarter.
4-point swing, and you know, that's tough when you're trying to play catch-up anyway with such an awesome ball club as King.
Brandon at the line for King. 2 shots.
Well, if you want to see good free throw shooting, you tuned in the right game. Jamie Brandon now with 23 points in the afternoon.
He had 28 in the quarterfinals.
That's just automatic. I mean, if he doesn't get 25, it's like there's no wind in Chicago. 51-39, and in a hurry is McKinney. McKinney's got some time, but oh my gosh, he almost made that shot. He had about another second to progress up court, decided to fire from there, and East St. Louis Lincoln has 8 minutes to try to deal with King's 12-point lead. It's a timeout for this message from one of your network sponsors, True Value Hardware. There you see the second semifinal matchup, Jerry Leggett and Quincy, assured of a record 12th piece of hardware at the state tournament. No other school has ever brought home that many against a very fine Chicago Gordon Tech team. If you haven't seen the young Kleinschmidt play, stay tuned. Tonight, of course, we'll be back at you at 6 o'clock with before the tip-off, and then the consolation game, which starts at 6:30, and the championship game to follow after that. Schofield called for the foul earlier, and this is what you call the illegal pick.
Now he moves again and shoves in, kind of sticks that left knee into the defender there.
Look at that field goal percentage for King here in the second half, man. 88%.
Those are high percentage shots, Jim. That's why they're shooting 63 on the year.
Well, they've just got to go up top now, or at least try to find Martin. But I think if you go up top a couple times, then you can find Martin.
It's interesting how in a 2-3 zone, how Griffith turns around and just kind of drapes himself over Conzo.
Conzo doesn't look frustrated, though. McKinney hangs in the air, gets it over to Williams, who gets a bucket. They needed him.
That's what they needed all along, was a game from Williams. But they need Conzo to be a little bit more active. I know he's nursing the tender knee. Now, see, here they're coming out and he's crushing a little bit. But they need to have him flashing and catch the ball a little bit.
Down to a 10-point ball game, but can you stop King with a guy like Jamie Brandon? No. Brandon came out of there. He's got a 3-on-2. To the hole is Horton, and we've got a charging foul. Again, good defense by the unsung one, Ahmad Sharif, who got down there and it looked like an 8-point ball game, but then they turn around.
I'm not too sure that Horton shouldn't have dumped back here to Conzo Martin, who was coming up the lane here.
Yeah,
good call. Excellent call. No doubt about it.
And an excellent play by Sharif.
Not a good choice by Horton.
Well, sometimes when you're down, you know, you don't have time to really filter it through your mind. You're just trying to get back in the game, and comes out with a mistake. Brandon tried to dunk, couldn't get it to go. Williams has the rebound. Well, if East St. Louis Lincoln does come back, remember that. Martin. And now back out front. Riley hasn't hit a three-pointer in a long time. Ooh, almost a steal by Sharif. Now penetration. Getting it over to Williams, and he missed the easy one. He was too far into the basket and couldn't shift outside.
Well, that's actually right. That's a big one, too. That was a little bunny shot.
Well, East St. Louis Lincoln had 2 opportunities the last 2 times down. And again, we're speaking from a vantage point where everything looks easy. Believe me, on the floor, it's a lot harder. Brandon tries to make the pass. He gets it knocked away and gets it right back. And now gets it knocked away again.
Tell you what, he's had some pests on him today. Riley and Horton both have really pestered him.
5:54 remain. King still in front by 10. Now this from one of your network sponsors, Country Companies. The opportunity for a 4th straight Class AA championship is starting to slip away from Benny Lewis and company, but as we said earlier, Benny did not come in here with any preconceived notions that he had the same kind of talent that Chicago King did. He did, however, control the tempo, which he wanted to do rebounding-wise in the second half. Lincoln has actually outdone him, but that shows you the pace of the game, too.
Exactly.
Only 9 rebounds in the whole second half.
Well, there's still time left to do it, but they're going to have to get some breaks. They're going to have to get some rolls.
The guard court for Chicago King, this guy has really made an impact. Ahmad Sharif, and now the guard court for King has 20 points combined, and that's pretty much been the difference in this one because you expect Jamie Brandon to get his 24 or 25. Lincoln down by 12 and almost out of ammunition here. They need some threes, or they need to get Mr. Martin going. There's Conzo. Set shot is way off the mark. Rebound, Johnny Selby. And you just feel it slipping away from the Tigers.
Well, I'm sure it is, and you know, they played well. They just haven't had enough horse.
Brandon just weaves his way down, can't get it to fall. Selby couldn't get it. Rebound the other way to Williams. Kick it back to Riley. Riley weaves. Gordon can't get the shot. Now I think, I thought maybe they were going to call him for the elbow. Schofield got in front of him but didn't have his feet planted. Schofield says, hey man, he's throwing an elbow in my midsection. 3 on Schofield. Sonny, of course, like most coaches, never a foul called against his team that he totally agrees with.
Are most coaches that way?
I'm afraid so. I mean, if I were a coach, I'm sure that you got to stick up for your guy.
I hadn't noticed that.
Except, of course, in Jacksonville.
That's right. We never have those problems.
I believe you're the first coach to ever go out to an official and say, hey, you missed a foul on us. Wasn't that you?
Usually, excuse me, Mr. Ref.
Yeah, they hit 1 of 2 for the free throw line. King now just takes the time. Look at the clock. There's that high post play. Griffin just wheels it back out. Sharif says, hey. It's been pretty much it for King. These 5 guys. Of course, Griffin did come out, replaced by Damian Porter for a while.
The shoe size on Griffin.
Oh, he walked inside.
What's the shoe size on that young man?
Well, I don't think they make them this country.
You know those are special orders.
I mean, if you call Nike for his shoe, they're going to say gladly. Gladly will we give you this shoe. Oh, long jumper, and it's blocked. Look at that play by Ahmad Sharif. And that's what Sonny Cox was talking about.
Look at the shoes on that young man. And
Bob Lanier reincarnated.
He's not done growing, folks. He's just 14, 15 years old. The freshman.
One is a foot, not a foot.
Well, it's a foot and a half, huh?
St. Louis Lincoln needs the 3, couldn't get it to fall. Martin hustles. He was in there with 4 Jaguars and just couldn't pull it down. At Schofield brings it up to 4.
You really have to admire Conzo Martin because he's not full strength. He's not 100%, and yet he's a gamer.
Well, they've really taken the game away from Martin defensively. Just on that 2-3 zone, they just packed it in. And you got to give Rashard Griffin some credit, too, because he's really fronted him and denied him the basketball.
He's an intimidating figure in there. He's a big kid, and he's done an excellent job. And, gee, you know, I'm sure that we're going to follow his career for the next 3 years to just see where this young man ends up playing his college ball.
Sylvester Ware checks into the ball game now as Griffin takes a rest. Here's what's happened. As you can see, King just getting 5 extra points in that second and third quarter, and now trying to even up the 4th as Brandon won't get it to fall, and Williams will bring the rebound down.
You know, Jim, that's a good move by Cox to take the youngster out to give him a little bit of rest. He doesn't want a wholesale substitute because he saw what happened last night, but this young boy needs to have some rest for tonight's game.
McKinney on the wing. See how King jumps out and denies that 3-point attempt. McKinney really needs that one, but he can't get that one to fall. He's got a lot of contact in there. And coming out of it was Johnny Selby. Body by Fisher, I believe Frank Sony said. He is put together there.
King's going to spread the floor here. Look for probably layups only. You know, both ball clubs are in the bonus. They've got the lead. look for some backdoor post-up.
There it is. Selvey down low. Spins. Can't get it to fall. Martin says, I'll take it out of there. Quickly up ahead to Williams. Stop. Tough shot. Couldn't get it to fall. King comes out of there with it. It's Schofield goes high.
That's not a bad series for King. They come down, heat some time up, take care of the ball, post it up low, look for something backdoor.
Brandon. Oh, he's going to work on Riley, but he can't get it to fall. Well, if East St. Louis Lincoln had gotten any offense at all in this quarter, and it's still 2:16 left, McKinney couldn't go that because he had already dribbled it. That would have been a violation, so alertly, Brandon goes and gets it.
I think he could have picked that ball up, though, without a violation. I don't think he could have dribbled it again, but I think he could have picked it up.
Yeah, you may be right on that. Bad pass, headed out of bounds.
A little sloppy here with their delay game, and I'm sure that's something that if they are in a championship game, have the lead, they're going to be going against an experienced club and in the likes of a Gordon Tech or a Quincy.
Well, it's no secret that delay is not in their personalities. McKinney can't get it. East St. Louis Lincoln can't buy a bucket here in the fourth quarter, and that's going to seal their fate. McKinney with his fourth personal foul will go the other way.
Well, you're seeing the King from the South being dethroned here.
That's right.
3-year run.
Oh, what a run it was for Penny Lewis. I mean, and he mentioned before this tournament started that he really doesn't have a favorite team, but maybe in terms of fondness, the one that did it last year and did it so precariously. Every game seemed to come down to the last shot. They beat Peoria Central, of course, in the championship game. On Vincent Jackson's shot.
And about the time you'd say, gee, could that possibly ever happen again? 3 consecutive titles, your first impulse would be to say no, and then you look over on King's bench and you see a 7-foot freshman and you think, maybe so.
Yeah, you see a couple of 7-footers over there.
Should it start this year?
Schofield. He's got 12 on the ball game. So the guard court for Chicago King has accounted for 22 of the 55 points. Not bad. Down low to Martin. They would have loved to do that a lot this game, but they just haven't been able to do so because look who's on the bench over there, Griffin. Minute 20 remaining in the game. Chicago King looks like they'll advance to play the winner of Quincy and Gordon Tech. And if Quincy can find a way to win, he's already given Chicago King some verbal ammunition because Jerry Leggett has said he counts the loss to King earlier in the year as a win because the IHSA had to deal with the problem of an ineligible player on Chicago King, and they reversed their decision to forfeit the first 15 games, and of course that was one of those games with Quincy. And a foul out front. I'll tell you what, Stanford Riley, they may not remember him too much after this game, but I will, because he drew one of the toughest assignments. He had to follow Brandon all over the place.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a happy kid. You know, he's played hard. He knows it. Sharif just came by and patted him on the backside because he knows that Sharif knows what a job he's had to do on Brandon. And you know, I imagine Sharif and Brandon played some one-on-one basketball in their friendship, and
I'm sure. I'm sure of that. And it's been a good game as far as temperament, too, because both teams have just played basketball.
Exactly right. And, you know, you take your hats off to both coaches and the young men on the floor because they played the game of basketball. And even though we use the word grudge match, we didn't use that in an unsportsmanlike tone. Grudge simply meaning, hey, we got to get back and get even with these people because they did a number on us.
Brandon trying for his 26th point of the game. It's a 13-point King lead, and now we'll just kind of watch the old clock wind down. It's at 45 and counting. McKinney will drive. Selvey will shut him off. McKinney will go the other way and hit the jumper. I'm sure that East St. Louis Lincoln fans are saying, well, with a healthy Gonzo, maybe a little bit different. And that's what makes the game great, too, because you can speculate far after it's over.
Sure you can. And, you know, possibly could make a difference, but that's just what you said. It's just nothing more than speculation. The fact of the matter is, King will await the outcome of Gordon Tech Quincy to see who they're going to play for the 1990 2A championship in boys basketball.
Well, as far as the St. Patrick's Day connection, you know, in Chicago, it's like a national holiday anyway. And if King can come home with a first-place trophy, that'll kind of cap it off for the city. Riley, have another three. That's his fourth of the game, and a timeout for East St. Louis. They've cut it to 8, but they only have 18 seconds remaining. Let's pause for these messages. Now, those guys have not been drinking something green. There's no way.
Well, they're having a little fun. They're the Lincoln fans, and they're having a little fun with their counterparts over here from Chicago Kings.
That's just two great schools as far as their basketball programs are concerned. They really, I mean, when you talk about basketball in the state of Illinois, you can't go very long without talking about King or East St. Louis Lincoln. You can't do it.
Outstanding athletes, coaches that have done an excellent job. I'm impressed with the discipline of both ball clubs, both in their approach to the game and also their mannerisms on the floor. They're fine athletes and appear to be fine gentlemen.
The 80s belong to East St. Louis Lincoln with 4 state championships, and now we'll see what the 90s bring.
Yeah, good point. And
there's the knee that may have turned the tide.
Show the class of that young man, though. He said, I don't want to talk about that. He said, today's championship day. You got to go out and do it.
Well, and Conzo's been at the mountaintop. I mean,
that's all right.
He's accomplished a lot, and he'll accomplish a lot more. McKinney forcing it over to Horton. That's going to be off the mark. And Schofield, I'm telling you, these guards for King really changed the tide. 1 second left, and it'll count. Sylvester Ware got it to fall at the buzzer, and that's the way the game ends at 60-49 in favor of still undefeated Chicago King. And Sonny Cox and Benny Lewis and the coaching staff for both schools exchanged pleasantries at center court. And Chicago King is in the championship game where they wanted to be. We'll be back after this with one of your network sponsors, the Illinois Pork Producers. Well, there is how it's developed so far. East St. Louis Lincoln advanced against Elgin. King advanced against West Aurora. They both just finished up with business. Chicago King won the ball game by a count of 60-49. Rolling Meadows and Gordon Tech. What a great game that was last night with Mr. Lipnicki and Kleinschmidt. And Gordon Tech is now set to take on Quincy. And that was another exceptional ball game as the Blue Devils kind of stole it away from Frank Nardi in the final minute. And as you look at the quarter rundown here of this semifinal game, Coach, East St. Louis Lincoln was in the ball game in the first quarter. That gave some confidence. 16-14, but King outscored the Tigers by 5 in the second quarter, by 5 in the third quarter, and then they pretty much took the air out of it, dictated tempo themselves in the fourth quarter. There were only 19 points scored, 10 of those by East St. Louis Lincoln, and East St. Louis Lincoln, and they just really couldn't get their offense going. Nothing would fall.
Right, Jim, and a proud champion went down with no disgrace at all. They played extremely well. They played a game that they had to play to stay with them, and I think that's a credit to East St. Louis Lincoln. A better ball game than most people probably anticipated. This one coming up next is going to be an outstanding one.
The guards for Chicago King, in my mind, really dictated how this game came out because they scored 22 points between them. Schofield started out well. Ahmad Sharif played a good game. Now, those guys just don't take silly shots.
Well, it all begins with Jamie Brandon, too. He can do it outside. He can post inside. He just owns the baseline. And when you have that kind of a talent on your team, it makes the other people around you even better.